Welcome to Stuck, Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startups to be wildly successful. Nowadays, you can't do that without social media. So I'm so happy to have Cheri Martin, the So Social visionary, who's going to tell us some tips, particularly for startups on social media. Welcome, Cheri.
Oh, thank you, Mary. So excited to be here and to share with the audience.
Sounds good. So, which is the hot platform these days, or does it depend on what business you're in?
It really does depend on the business that you're in. In fact, if you, as a startup business, you really need to know who your ideal audience is. I mean, who is it that you really want to have those conversations with? Because that's going to determine the actual network, the platform that you're going to be most active on. And of course, we know the top one is Facebook and Instagram. Those are great for businesses that have a lot of products and as well as services. If you're more business oriented, LinkedIn is definitely the place to be. That is to me, it's one of the best platforms to develop relationships. However, Facebook, you can build community there as well. But if you are a product-based business, you don't want to forget YouTube as well, because that's a fabulous platform to put demos and more product information up as well. So it is going to depend on who your audience is, and that's going to help you determine where you want to be showing up consistently. And that's the best tip I can provide for that. And also understand you don't have to be everywhere. Wait till you're ready, but use that, master that one that's going to help you really get the reach that you need to get your visibility.
People need to remember that while Google is the first choice in search engines, YouTube is the second. So don't discount YouTube.
That is true. That is true. In fact, when you look at LinkedIn, if you don't have a website, that's the perfect place to really have a presence, because you can use that as a almost like a landing page when you fill out your LinkedIn profile information as well. And that can serve a great purpose for you as a startup that's on a limited budget, because we don't have all those big bucks to get everything set up right away.
So what are some tips for startups? Is there one most important thing people need to know?
Unlike established brands, startups struggle to be recognized right away in their emerging stage. They want to make sure that they are getting information out about their business. So using social media actively can really help you quickly become popular among your targeted audience. However, you must have a strategy. Without a strategy, you're just going to be floundering all over the place. I know, I've been there when I first started on it back in 2008. I first jumped onto LinkedIn, and then Twitter, and then Facebook. And then, as all these platforms come rolling in, we have to go dabble a little bit. And that's okay. But really, like I said, I want to just come back. Master that one platform that your audience is on, because that's the platform that you're going to want to be having the conversations with. That's where you're going to be more visible. So my first one, first big tip, as I said, master one social media platform. The next is really, create that strategy. I think that's the biggest mistake that I see startups make, is just jumping right on those platforms, especially on Facebook or Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever. They're not sales tools. And that's another mistake we tend to forget.
People are putting stuff out, but they're not engaging. You have to go back to all your posts and comment on the comments, right?
Exactly. I mean, you want to make sure that you are using these platforms as they are meant to be, communication tools, and for them to work for us, because that's what we want to do. We set up our profile, we're out there posting. We really want to see some things happening. And so these platforms should be working for us. So with that strategy that you're creating, you want to really make sure that you are putting content out there that's going to really resonate with your audience. I like to say, write for your audience, not for you. What is their interest? What is the challenge they're having that your product or service can really help them benefit from and find some solutions? When you start posting that valuable content about how you, and not so much about what you do, but how your product or service can benefit them and put their needs out there, what their interests are, then it's going to come back and they're going to start definitely taking notice. And you made a big point about, we also need to make sure that as we're connecting with individuals on social media, we're taking the time to have a conversation with them, respond to their posts. In fact, the way the algorithms, and I hate that, we don't want to get hung up on the algorithms of these platforms, but let's face it, that's what makes them all successful in the background there. We have to understand that algorithms really look upon not so much how much content we put out there, it's how much we are active on the platforms. The more active you are, the more, in other words, the more times you comment, respond to your individuals that are connecting with you, and take the time to go and read their posts and that they're putting out there. The algorithms pick that up and they'll start showing more of that type of information in your feed. Also, they'll start making sure you stay connected more consistently with those individuals that are going through your feed. And that's the key. That is the key. We want to be known before we are needed. In other words, we need to be showing up. We need to be visible. We need to be on present on all these platforms so that people see us and know that we are active.
It's consistency and persistence. And even if you're only on for 20 minutes a day, you need to be on every day. And that if you can manage the same time period every day, that's really going to help you create the interactions you need. And the call to action for sales is offline. You take that into your own private system. You don't do that in social media.
I know. And that is really where I notice a lot of businesses get hung up on, is they just think they need to keep promoting. I have what I call a content rule. It's a 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your content really needs to be interesting, entertaining, gathering that, I guess you can say that the interest with your audience, have them want to kind of hanging on that ledge. What's next? I can't wait to hear more. And then 30% of your content needs to be resourceful. It needs to be maybe more on what's trending with the industry, what's happening within the service that you are an expert in, so that your audience can really see that you're staying on top of all that you are the go-to person that they want to make sure they're connected with. And that 20% of the 50-30-20 rule is where you can do some promotions. But I always say, be cautious and practice the art of unselling and not be constantly selling. You want to make sure the type of content you'd be putting out there for promotions it could be some testimonials that build social proof. It also, maybe you can promote a poll and asking questions. So you're promoting things within your business, but you're not selling to them, but weaving them in and engaging more. That's going to really help you stand out, because let's face it, there are probably close to 5 billion people across all social media platforms these days. We want to make sure that we're standing out with our audience so that they can't wait to hear more from us.
Thank you so much, Cheri Martin from So Social Visionary. I'm sure that you have plenty of other tips, and we'll put information about how people can contact you in the comments. So thanks again. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff. I want startups to be wildly successful, and book a synergy call with me at businessriff.com to do that. Join us again next time for Stuck, Time to Improv.